If you are a little bit further along in your self abandonment, rather, not self abandoning journey, and you're worried about self abandoning all the time to the point where you make really rushed, urgent decisions, or you feel like you can't sit with discomfort because you're scared it means you're self abandoning, or you have to have all the answers right now, or you're self abandoning. And if there isn't a clear answer, then it must be wrong. I feel you. My mic's right here. That's why I'm. Yeah, I feel you completely. So, I had a friend who is dating right now. Bring me an audio message. Got to bring your audio messages to the tribe, right? You got to figure out if you are self abandoning or if you are just being really afraid of self abandoning. And so the person she's dating is this wonderful person, seems great so far, and lots of good things checked. They have some differences. Who doesn't have some differences? That's normal. And she is worried that these things that make them just a little different are her self abandoning if she's continuing to get to know him. And without going into details, I will say this was the thing that just came over me all at once because I started the audio like, this is such a good question, and this is the dynamic that I just kind of went through in my longer term relationship. And so, how do you know that you're not self-abandoning? Because the people who've self-abandoned their whole life, and by self-abandonment, I mean people please, overstayed, got really codependent, threw their own needs out their window, their own wants, desires, and lives, put the other person far before themselves, literally loved the other person more than they loved themselves, did that for family members, friends, their jobs even, things that literally make you lose yourself. That's how you lose yourself, by putting everything above you and throwing your needs out the window and smiling when you don't want to and completely falsifying your own experience or belittling your own experience to make other people comfortable or more important, and probably to get love or affection or praise or approval from those people. So if that's you, here's what I'm going to say. And if you're worried, if you're aware that that's been a pattern and you're really committed to not doing that anymore, this is how you don't do that, in my opinion, okay? And I'm still charging my own way through the world on this, but here's how what I've learned through my process, which was breaking up with my boyfriend because I thought that I have a different or greater vision in the world, and his is a little bit unclear right now about where he's going, and me feeling like, well, fuck, like if I need a partner who's gonna see the world with me clearly and drive, then I guess this isn't compatible. And I basically, because I do want someone who like drives alongside me and has a vision for their own life. Yes, of course. But like he's also in an in-between in his life and career and is trying to figure it out. And there also is a really beautiful polarity and balance, yin yang thing that we have, where I am like kind of big outward facing things in the world, and he is so grounded, and it literally helps. I feel so much peace with him, right? My day to day, I kept saying like my garden is flourishing. I was just worried that his wasn't. And that was also a projection from my childhood where there was like some imbalances in the home that I'm afraid to recreate, and I never want to be like somebody who oppresses my partner. And he was like, I'm not oppressed. Like, I love watching you thrive. And I'm like, okay, well, I want you to thrive too. And instead of just like giving that space and time, I just got really, really, really scared and jumped the gun and thought, uh-oh, I might be self-abandoning by staying here if I want him to do more of this than he's currently doing. And if he's not doing it now, maybe he won't. And maybe that means I'm abandoning myself. So maybe I gotta go. And like, I've never been somebody to like blast off. I've been somebody who's stayed in relationships for 6.5 years with zero chemistry. Like, I'm talking like just zero chemistry. I'll leave it at that for now. So like, what the hell, you know? I've been in lots of long-term relationships. My first relationship was 4.5 years, and that was like me getting cheated on Okay, that was high school, but like I'm just saying. And that's a long relationship for a high schooler. And then the other thing is, yeah, so and then this next one, like 6.5 years, no chemistry because it was safe. Like both ways I was self-abandoning myself, right? Like one was just like literally no respect from me or myself. And then the next one was still kind of no respect for me or myself, but feeling so safe and therefore good. So here's what I'll say. I told her the 3 things that allow you to know that you're not self-abandoning, at least in dating, but this could apply to other areas of your life. Think about it and let me know what you think. Actually, this is mostly dating. Love. Is there love that's there? Okay, I think a lot of people would probably answer, yeah. I mean, if they're dating, sorry, it might be early to say love, but like, there's heart energy there. That's connection there. Cool. And I'm not even just talking chemistry. Chemistry is important, but we all know that chemistry can exist without compatibility and without love. So we're not really worried about that piece because the person who's self-abandoned isn't usually as concerned at this point that I'm talking about with the chemistry overpowering them, because they'd be aware like, oh man, like I know this is bad news, but the chemistry, and they're usually able to see that. So this person's more like the compatibility, like, is that good? There's a lot of goodness, but am I abandoning myself because there's maybe a possible compatibility thing that's not working? So it's obviously comes back down to like, how important is this to you? Truly, are these your value core values? And is there something balancing there? Or do you guys get met in other ways to each other that are just so good that it's okay? Because that's also something that happens. Like there's so many like million other subjects you guys connect on, but it's like, oh, we both don't love volleyball. Okay, that might be a little like small seeming, but really, like, what if that was your whole life? Like you loved it so much and they didn't love it. Like, do you know how many people like have a career that their partner really doesn't even give a shit about, but they love each other so much and they celebrate each other's joy in it? Or hobbies, same thing. Like you guys don't have to have the exact same hobbies as long as you're able to celebrate that the other person might have different ones. It's cool if you have ones that overlap because then you can hang out and have fun, but there will be differences and that's all good. That's not self-abandonment, first of all. So that's a really clear way to say it. But is there love? Is there curiosity? This is another piece that I think we let go a lot. If there is love/joy, I'd say joy if it's in early dating and you don't want to call it love, let's call it joy. If there's joy together and there's curiosity is also something that's really important. Like I say, follow your joy, but also follow your curiosity, because your curiosity is going to lead you to really important places too. Sometimes we don't know if it brings us joy yet, right? But there's something in you that's been like, it's calling you and you're curious and it keeps calling you. So you're like, oh, I'm going to check that thing out. I'm going to keep exploring with this person. I'm going to go to that class, whatever. And that is also so valuable. That's not self-abandonment. To follow your curiosity is to follow your heart, is to follow you, your spirit, to some part of you that's there for a good reason, leading you down your path for whatever lesson or whatever outcome, even if it's just a lesson. And that's the hard part. Like we all want to know that it's going to end up in perfect unity and everything's great, but we don't know. Like we don't know. As long as we're feeling joy/love, curiosity that's authentic and genuine, you really am like, it really is like, oh, I want to know more. I'm not finished here. Hold on. You can experience that and explore that. And you also may have different parts of you, but let's just say this. You want to have love/joy. You want to have curiosity, and you want to have safety. Safety. Ding, 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 ding. Safety. This is so key. If you can have a sense of safety in your nervous system, and sometimes you have to regulate enough to get there. It's not about regulating before every interaction or like where this becomes incessant in your partnership. If you're always having to regulate with this person, like you're always trying to be okay, have a conversation about that with your partner. Let me just start there. Have a huge, honest conversation about that with your partner. I feel like this, And I'm feeling like this all the time. And I'm trying. I've tried I've tried the meditation, I've tried the supplements, this is based on a true story with me, by the way. I dated someone. I literally had a 2-hour morning routine just to function in that relationship. I'd wake up, no phone, sunlight, like, what is that? Like, good morning, starshine, whatever. Like, that was me trying so hard. I'm like clinically like anxious. My hair is falling out in swaths. Like, I'm so skinny. I lost like 20 pounds in like a few months. I'm opening the blinds like what a beautiful day. And I'd stand outside in this foggy ass inland Southern California like area that should, by anyone else's standard, be a beautiful place to live, but it was just not for me. I also hate fog. It kills me. So I like go outside. I'm standing in like the wet grass in the morning, and I'm just like breathing deeply, drinking my lemon water, doing somatic shaking for my nervous system just to function in this motherfucking relationship. Every day I had to do that. And I'm not just saying like, oh, that's a protocol to get myself back on track, or like, oh, I just enjoy doing it because it always makes me feel better. No, I literally had to do that to function. So that's when you gotta know, my friends. But I literally stayed in that for a year and a half, trying, because the chemistry was so good and because I couldn't figure out, well, it seems like there's safety, but there was a lack of compatibility. And I knew that if I didn't contort myself into this person's world, I don't think the relationship would work. We wanted to live in 2 different places. We had very different interests, and not just in the separate interest kind of way, but in the interests where like his interest was literally triggered the shit out of me because he loved raving, and I have like I'm very uncomfortable around people on drugs. And that was literally one of my number one non-negotiables, is like inconsistency, which also came up in the relationship a lot. And it also came up in drug use, which happened recreationally with his peers. And sometimes he wouldn't do it for me. But then also, like, that's contortion too. Like, I'd like to say, like, don't do drugs. Like, nobody should do drugs. Like, whatever. This is 2025, and like I get it. But I'm just saying, like, he enjoyed those things. They brought him joy. They made him feel free. Like, he should be able to do that. I should be able to do my thing. We do not need to try to make that work together because it caused too much friction and triggered our immediate harms, like inconsistency and addiction and things that came up in my family that are just way too intense for me now. I was literally paying an EMDR specialist thousands of dollars, which is EMDR is that like eye trauma healing thing where, anyways, I was paying this specialist to try to undo my fear of drugs, basically heal my trauma around drugs, which started at like a 10 when I was around it. Like, I was that triggered about it, and I was like trying to get it down. And I was spending all this money trying to do it. Sure. Does that help me in the long run? Sure. Because now I can like chill, I guess, if someone's doing a line of cocaine next to me, which I hope literally never happens because that's just not my vibe, and it doesn't have to be. That's contortion and self-abandonment. When your partner isn't doing exactly what you want them to do and you think that there's more for them to do, and on the day-to-day you feel so safe and loved and comfortable and happy and warm and connected, and you see eye to eye and you can play and all these things, and there's a big ask of them, like you do want them to meet you in a certain way, but they say, yes, I hear you, and I'm gonna start that process. You give them the chance if you want. You don't have to, but I'm just saying you're not self-abandoning if you do. You're being like reasonable. You're being a reasonable partner who loves someone and has love, curiosity, and the safety to do that. So that's my story. I also just make this like hilarious joke about just knowing that you're in contortion, especially if it brings up a lot of conflict. So another example with that partner was I was at EDC, that music festival, and it was like his 11th time or something, and it was my first time, and it was not on my bucket list, but I was like, okay, we're gonna go. Like, you love it. I want to support you in what you love, of course. So I go, and I am a little freaked out because I know that we're going to be with a bunch of people that are doing a lot of drugs and like getting crazy. And to be completely honest, like I do like some EDM, but like some EDM. And if you've been to EDC, you know that all night it's just like from literally 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. people do this. And I was like buckling up for this experience, just thinking like, okay. And we go, and it was a lot. I was extremely tense like the entire time. And I had some fun, and I let myself like be a little loose and just like enjoy the moment. And my outfit was cute. It was like, whatever. There were some good people around us. But it was definitely an edgy experience. It was way far out of my comfort zone, and not just in the like, oh, I've never done something like this before. In the like, this isn't exactly, this comes real close to some of my deepest harms, being inconsistency, addiction, all these issues that have been around me that are really, 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 really intense. So yeah, I do think it's good for us to stretch and feel safety in those environments, which I did, and I'm really proud of myself for. And ultimately, like, I can say a lot of positive things. I even wrote an article about it, I think, on my blog, like back in the day, to like really stretch myself and look for the positives, because they exist. And it's not for me. That's okay. And so at the end of the night, when after 2 straight days of this, oh my gosh, I was like, hey, and you're so tired, like you're not sleeping, and then you're doing day clubs in the day, and it's just so much. And people usually are doing drugs to like sustain that. Not everyone, but I'm like, at least his people were, and I'm like, I am not doing this. Like, there's no chance. And so I told him that like the entire experience, and he asked, and I was like, honestly, and by the way, I was honest, like I wasn't even self-abandoning, right? So this is core to know. When I was truly honest about how the experience made me feel, and how I was like, I'm really happy this makes you happy, and I'm happy to have gone with you, but ultimately, like, it's probably a net neutral, because it's just not really my thing. Like, it's a net neutral. Like, there's a lot that comes with it that's cool, and a lot that is just not for me. So kind of like neutrals out. It's just not neutral experience. And he was like, not neutral. Like, he didn't yell at me, but he was just like, he was disturbed by that. Like, he couldn't understand that I could feel like that. And he loves it. So that was hard, but it was just showing us how different we really are. And I didn't want to take that from him, and he didn't want to take it from me, but he wanted me to be by his side, and I wanted to be by his side in it. And so anyway, the contortion continued. Not for much longer past that point. That was actually kind of like an important night, because then I just cried. I think it was like after the second night or something. So anyway, like the sun was already up, and we were just in the hotel room, and it was maybe like 7 a.m. and I was just crying my eyes out, like so tired, and just like so tired of contorting, and so tired of trying, and being like in my little rave girl outfit, like this is contortion. This is contortion. This is what you're not supposed to do. Me in a little rave girl outfit is the ultimate contortion. Not because I don't love dressing slutty. I actually love that. I love it. I think it's so fun. But that just ain't me. That just ain't me. So, yeah. Does this make sense? So if there's love / joy, curiosity, and of course, fundamentally, you and your nervous system feel safe. I'm not just talking like, is a train coming at you? Most of the time when we feel unsafe, there's not imminent danger, but our bodies can feel really, really, really bad. And I also invite you to give yourself a couple of days, if something got like revved up in you, to know if that's a real lack of like fundamental safety, or if something was just triggered in you, especially in relationships where we know our hearts are on our sleeve. Like, there's a lot of feeling, even dating, like we're putting a lot out there. So like the way the wind blows can just like make us frigid or fearful, or that yipping little chihuahua. And just make sure that you're honest with yourself and the person, and you give time and space to let things settle back down in your system again, to know if it's truly lack of safety, or if it's a trigger of fear, or that little chihuahua part of you that is such a great little protector trying to get you to not self-abandon. That's how I imagine the part of me now that's my protector part around my self-abandonment is just the yippiest, feistiest little chihuahua in a shock collar that no matter how hard you zap that shock collar, it just keeps barking, doesn't give a fuck. And that is so good because before there was no part of me that protected me. I would put myself in any situation to just feel a sense of love and connection for the most part. Not any situation, but quite a lot. So I hope that helps for the people or girlies, I just spit, that are trying to not self-abandon and are committed to that and wondering what is and what isn't. And if you have ideas on this or thoughts or additional like rules of thumb that keep you safe, that keep you self-abandoning and please write how you stay in self-abandonment. We'd all love to know. Actually, it might be a good reflection for you to know what you're doing if you are. But no, how you not self-abandon and stay open-hearted and connected and loving. So I would love to know your thoughts on that because we can all help each other. It would be really cool to actually keep that conversation going. I'm not an expert. I'm on my journey, but I have a lot to say because I have been it. And the little girl in the little rave outfit crying in the hotel room in Vegas is no longer... Bye, sweet girl. We've got bigger plans. Okay, if you want to continue this work, this conversation, if you're trying to really find your own version of authentic joy, check out my website. I have a retreat coming up on Maui in January 15th through the 18th. It's called Lit and Luscious, Come Home to Your Authentic Joy. And I think it's so important for these types of people too, especially if you're a little bit along that journey and you're trying to really find out what your authentic joy is, or even if you're still in self-abandonment and you're trying to find out like what makes me happy. I've lost myself. I can't feel myself because of my career or my partnership or my job or my career's job, whatever. My family, because whatever. I've just been trained like that. And I'm really trying to feel the pulse of me again and connect to myself again. That's why I've created this retreat with my co-leader, Laura Juergens, who is a sex, love, and relationship coach. She was my coach, and she helped me so much during that time of self-abandonment. So it's actually really powerful that I get to show you what I've done. She also was the coach in my ear. And together we're going to find out how to just live the most pleasurable, lit, and luscious life. It's for girls only, and it's 4 days. So come on down. Yeah, we only have 2 more spots in the house, so get that going. It's in the link below. It's in the links below. So, yeah. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Kema, and I'm here to just vulnerably share everything. Just kidding. Nope, I have better discernment now. But I'm sharing what feels good in my process because it feels good for me, and it also is something I felt like I've needed to do is proliferate my honest truth and be authentic right here. And I've about 10 years of coaching corporate wellness, one-on-ones, teens and tweens and social emotional programs, and all kinds of people around the world to help them connect with themselves. And that is my journey. I'm a human, so I'm here to show you that I'm a human in that journey and that it's messy sometimes. But my number one rule that I live by is being brave. So I'm being brave and I'm sharing all this. Thank you for being here. Subscribe, follow along if you want. I'm posting every day. I hope you have the most beautiful day, and I will see you here soon.